your supervillain will go out there and get anybody can get a bomb. But this man got a big ass cartoon bomb. That's a giant ball that just rolls through Rome like a pinball machine.
Yeah,
if it wasn't moving so fast, you could see the Acme logo.
Yeah. He just found this bomb out of nowhere.
And it's not just a bomb, it's a nuke.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah. It's a big old roly-poly nuke. A big old round nuke that he found, man.
Yeah, to kill these 8 people, I'm going to make Rome radioactive.
Yes. And this ball goes everywhere and doesn't kill anybody.
No.
They mentioned that they might have killed somebody, but this ball, look at it. This ball takes out this ball. Nobody in that bus died.
No.
Somehow nobody's in the middle of the bus.
Nobody, everybody was there. Everybody's in the front of the bus and the back of the bus.
And the bomb was just polite enough to go right through the middle.
Pardon me. Excuse me. Go ahead and get your tickets for Double Toasted Live in Atlanta. You press that banner right there. It'll take you to x1entertainment.com. And over there you can get your tickets for Double Toasted Live in Atlanta for a night of comedy games and our after party. That's going to be September 2nd. Dominic Toretto. That doesn't matter at this point. Dominic Toretto, whatever his name is. The man that lived his life a quarter mile at a time. Finally pressing the brakes and slowing down. After years of street racing and then going on secret missions and then pretty much graduating up to superhero. He says, I got to slow down now. I got this fine woman over here. We got a kid. We can't be going out there and putting our lives at risk and acting crazy like this. I got a son. That's for the next generation to do.
Right.
Maybe they won't be as stupid as us. Maybe they'll be able to make sense out of all of this. But Dominic, he says, yeah, man, I'm finally slowing down. I'm older. It's time to really live up to that word, family.
Yeah.
And not the other word, not the other F word. But, that's the thing with these folks, man. Dominic and the rest of his friends. Oh, I'm sorry, family. He
don't have friends. He has family.
They have family. They can't slow down. Every time he slows down, a dark figure comes from his past, as it is doing right now, because there's always a dark figure coming from the past.
Somebody gunning for him.
Right. This man has pissed off so many people that they want him dead. That more people want him dead than they want the president. Right? So a dark figure has emerged again from Dom's past.
Because they took away his family. And now a guy, there he is, Aquaman. He said, hey, damn it, took my daddy away from me. Now I'm coming for your family.
Yeah, I'm coming for you. Took my family, now I'm coming for your family. That is Jason Momoa as Dante. And he says, but you know what? I'm not going to, there he is, taking his daddy. Yeah, get your ass out of here. But I live.
Well,
he's in water.
Yeah, they put Aquaman in the water.
Yeah.
What do you think was going to happen?
Right. You just made me stronger. And he says, but I ain't going to be like these other fools out here where I'm just going to come out there and try to kill you and, of course, mess up. See, that's where they messed up. They're trying to race you and they're trying to kill you. No, I'm not going to kill you. I'm going to make you suffer. I'm going to do stuff to people around you. And the biggest thing is that, you had this agency where you felt like they were protecting you the whole time. And let's face it, though, only because of them is the reason why you were not in jail, or worse, you were not dead. But that's done. I'm going to turn this agency against you, the only people you have protecting you. And not only I'm going to turn them against you, but now you're going to be seen as international criminals. Terrorists. Can Dom and friends, family, can they actually clear their names? Can they find anyone that they can trust? Can they actually bring this new enemy in and make them family too? Have they found another one for the collection? Don't know. We're going to find out though, as we get into our review for what people are calling the end of a saga. Not really.
Not really.
Not
even close.
Not even close. Let's stop it. Just stop it. But this film right here, which they say is going to kick off a trilogy, Fast X. And we'll watch this trailer and we'll be back with our reviews.
But I am afraid of losing someone I love.
kid is like, what?
I just got here.
Yeah, sure.
Still can't believe that shit.
Don't laugh.
So for years, we've been saying that these movies have been leading up to Marvel movies or being Marvel movies. They are Marvel movies now. And surprisingly, that is not the case with this film right here. It's a DC movie. Thanks to gay Aqua joke over here. Because that's the best way I can describe this man right here.
Oh, hell yeah, he is.
So, yeah. I mean, seriously, if the Joker was swole
That'd be
and instead of cackling, he was like, yeah! Not that he doesn't cackle a lot in here. He does that too.
Moving to Despicable.
Okay, that was badass.
That was
right
badass.
there.
Yeah.
It's getting tricky, guys. I can't stay on it for much longer.
By the way, that's him laughing. So, if the Joker was swole, yell like a bro every now and then, and was gay, that would be the character of Dante, who we have right now. But more on him later. So I'm curious to see what you guys think about this, because everybody's leniency on this movie, the suspension of disbelief on these films are, it's different with everyone.
Sure.
And, another thing that we joke about with these films, we constantly talk about how these movies have just been flat out ignoring gravity, physics, and logic. But this movie ain't ignoring shit. It is looking at all of them and saying, you.
Okay. Acknowledge how stupid it is.
You don't tell me what to do. Shit. If I want to drive down this goddamn cliff, I'm doing it.
And it's funny how with the last movie, we tripped out over the Tarzan swing with the car.
Yeah.
That ain't nothing.
No, compared to what happens in this one. Boy, they playing Rocket League and this shit.
Man, these movies are so insane now. I feel threatened by them. Because they do some shit, and I think they're looking at me talking about, yeah, we did that. Don't do it. Say something.
Okay, all right.
Sit your ass down. Give me your money. I actually feel scared to say something about these movies now. I ain't scared of y'all. I'm scared of these movies, man. Because they are daring me.
They are.
They are daring you to say something.
They fly in the face of everything you know about how the world works.
Yes. Shit, we've been doing this for years. I dare to say some shit, and we only gonna get dumber with each movie.
It is 2 hours and 15 minutes of gaslighting. It is. This is what cars do. What? Oh, just because you can't do it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, they like, no, maybe cars don't do that, but we do.
Dom does.
Shit, awkward gay Joker does.
Yeah.
If Dom touches the car, it's as indestructible as he is.
Yes. And you know what? And Martin is right. I will give it to these movies, man. They get so crazy with each film that they normalize the other crazy shit they did last time.
Yes,
Right.
they do.
Because, y'all remember that rope swing?
I forget.
Yeah. Now, y'all remember when we thought that was the craziest and dumbest shit that we had seen? After seeing Fast 10, I can rationalize this.
Right. You're like, well, with the right circumstances, maybe that could work.
Well, I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, and that's what makes me mad, because now I can look at this and make sense out of it. Because I'm like, well, shit, it is anchored to something. And, ropes are kind of strong,
And the car is heading downward, indicating there is some gravity there.
Some gravity. Then I was like,
Look at us defending this.
Yeah, physics and logic were gone, but gravity was sticking with it, man.
They tried.
Gravity looked at logic and physics and said, y'all wait up. I'm done. I can't do it no more, man. I tried
to fight the good fight. But yeah, they do something like that. It's like a quarter of the way in the film.
Yes. yeah, people, they do something in this movie that is so insane and insanely dumb. The only explanation I can give you,
Yeah.
you know what? Hey, I even looked at a friend that somebody sitting next to him. I was like, well, just strap in, let's go.
Yeah.
You know, don't ask no questions. We in now.
They did some things that were so ridiculous. I laughed heartily out loud and looked around. I was like, nobody else thinks it's ridiculous? Oh, okay.
Everybody else was numb.
I mean, I would say it's ridiculous, but the last movie they went to the moon with a car.
We said it in a Pontiac.
Yeah, come on.
Two brothers, two black
Shit
dudes.
don't phase you no more.
Two black dudes got some scuba gear and a Pontiac and duct tape. And I told Martin some gas money.
Broke this damn sound barrier.
And went up to space.
Yep.
And came right back.
Came back. Came back like it wasn't nothing.
Yeah.
Even when you're like, okay, I guess I can see how you might be able to get up there, but how you gonna get back? Don't worry about it. We got back.
They got back in time for some barbecue and a Corona. Shit, we getting back. Yeah, man. You know, I look at this and some of the stuff that we're talking about, is it ridiculous? Is it even dumb? Yeah. Does it look cool? Yes. But I got to be honest with you. There's just not a whole lot of thrill there for me anymore. Is there awe for the spectacle? Yeah. You know, is there respect for the work that the effects artists put in? Yeah. You know, I do respect all of that, man. But can I say that there is a thrill for me here? Not really. And, you know, and that's not anything against the fans who will ride and die with this. You know, if you're into it, hey, listen, you've been riding this long. You ain't about to stop now.
I feel like they count on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you love these characters and this is who you follow, you know, if you're in that invested, then I understand completely. But for me, you know, and it could be because I see a lot of films more than the average person. Because if this is your movie that you get out to watch, you ain't been to the theater and all year, then yeah, why would you not be thrilled? Mm-hmm. I don't blame anybody for that at all. But for me, you know, I watched this, and despite all the explosions and all the stunts and all the so-called danger that they put them in, I know that these characters will be okay. I have no fear for the actors. I have no fear for the characters because I know it's all CG. And I know I don't want to be one of those people who's, complaining about CG, but I think it's appropriate here to say so because, if you saw our review of The Fast and the Furious, the first movie, we made a point of saying that I not only felt danger for the characters, but I felt danger for the actors. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm sure that the actors were good. Everybody on set took all the right safety precautions. But when I was watching some scenes in The Fast and Furious, I was on the edge of my seat because it looked like the actors were in danger.
Get him! Put your foot on the gas!
That leap, the Vince hanging on the side, the character Vince at the time hanging on the side of the truck. Somebody put it very well in the chat. It looked real.
You know what else sells that scene? I just really noticed is that they're having to scream while they drive, and you can still barely hear each other.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
Because what we just saw in the earlier scene in Fast 10, Michelle Rodriguez, motorcycle helmet on, beating on a bulletproof glass of an armored car, saying, "Get out." And Eastwood is able to look over at him
yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I didn't think about that, Martin. That is true, man.
That's great observation.
Yeah. I a lot of this does not look real. It looks processed. It I can tell it's CG. I know it's CG, and it's so over the top that it has to be CG. And like I said, some of the stunts in here are very cool. I had to look at that stunt that Michelle Rodriguez did, or the stunt woman for Michelle Rodriguez did on the motorcycle.
Still, it's a very cool stunt.
It looks cool.
Yeah. And and a lot of these shots are cool. Again, respect to the craft, man. Respect to the art. And there is artistry here. But as far as anything that really made me feel invested emotionally or made me nervous for any of these people, it just wasn't there for me.
I totally get that because they do push it. It's so far from where these movies were. Starting with the fifth movie, they changed into something, a completely different animal, and they just keep upping the ante each time to the point that we're looking at a cartoon. I mean, you watch this movie or these movies, and they're a cross between. It's like you said, it's a DC movie it's Speed Racer,
Yeah.
it's John Wick, and a telenovela. Because when you get to the drama, it's such a telenovela.
Oh, yeah.
Even with the Spanish guitar playing in the background. And what they're talking about, like, the dialogue is terrible.
Oh, I think it's some of the worst.
It's some of the worst. These last two movies has had the worst dialogue.
Yes, you're correct on that.
And as much as these movies have banked off having an ethnically diverse cast with a lot of brown people, they've gotten to where they're just mixing up nationalities like it ain't nothing. Because we started with Dominic Toretto, and we see his family.
Yeah.
His Italian and I suppose mixed family, but now we have Rita Moreno, their Puerto Rican grandmother or mother.
You got Jacob.
Jacob, the white brother.
Yeah,
Nothing like
exactly.
him.
He's got a son that looks like he's part black. Because I was like, okay, I understand that his mother was Brazilian, but he don't look like neither one of y'all.
No, he don't.
I get the feeling I probably enjoyed this more than you. Because there's things about it that I did enjoy.
Yeah.
Like, I really like Jason Momoa in it. His effeminate Joker. But I was like, this is going to be terrible. I was like, he's actually pretty good at it.
Yeah.
He's one of the bright spots when it comes on.
Well,
It works.
look at these movies, man. Listen, these movies are not like idiots with good bodies, man. With they like if they flex or if they stick their ass out or something. Yeah, you're great to look at, but I can only look so long. I can't engage with you. Ain't nothing there besides that, and that's where I'm at. But I will say this because I don't want anybody to think I'm hating on the movie. I'm not. I would say that fortunately there are some things in the film that keep it from reaching this point where I just totally don't like it, or I look down on it, or despise it, or whatever. They're not at all. They're as much as these characters are flat, as much as the dialogue is terrible. There is still something childlike with me wanting to see all these characters that they've collected over the years come together, and have their moment. Now, in this movie, every character that really, they collect these people over the years.
To its detriment.
Yeah.
Because there's too many characters that you're trying to keep up with.
Yeah.
And when you spend time with the ones who aren't that good, you feel it.
Yeah. Shit, Dom collects frenemies like Pokemons, man.
Yep.
This is... but the cool thing with this is that, I mean everyone when they bring them in. If Dom beat the shit out of you or had an argument with you or y'all got into a fight, you family.
Yeah.
If
he didn't kill you.
Yeah, if he didn't kill
family.
you, shit, not only did you show up to kill Dom and you became friends, you might be his relative. You might come up with some DNA proof that y'all on the same family tree out of nowhere, of course.
Oh, we are family.
Yeah, we are literally family. The thing with everybody coming back is that they finally get to tie up some loose ends with things I had questions about. Well, kind of tying up loose ends.
Come on.
Oh, now y'all want to try to rush in there.
Ineffectual.
Should have stayed dead.
You're ruining my snacks.
Keep in mind, everybody is a kung fu master now.
Everybody.
Everybody.
Literally, Ludacris.
Han didn't know no goddamn kung fu, even though he's Asian. He didn't know no kung fu at all when he was hanging out over there in Tokyo drifting.
Oh yeah, Ludacris, the British chick, they all know it.
They all gonna fight now.
Relax. I don't want to fight you.
And this is gonna end quick. Let's dig some graves.
That's Han and Shaw. I say they kind of wrap things up. Of course, it's a movie. We got to get a fight with them. They settled nothing. They didn't settle the goddamn thing. They beat the shit out of everybody. And when they stopped, and the only reason they stopped beating the shit out of each other because they started beating everybody else up that came in.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know how to finish this scene. Cue the henchman.
Yeah, but I will say that is the benefit of this turning into somewhat of a superhero series now, is that these characters are the Avengers at this point. And I did have some fun seeing them all, have their own separate adventures, have their own separate thing that they did, have their own separate journeys in the movie. A part of me wants to see them come together in game style. At the end,
They will.
Yeah.
Roll up in cars.
Yeah, right. But they're gonna be in cars.
Instead of portals.
They're all gonna be in cars, and some of them gonna probably come from traveling through time or some shit. I would not doubt it.
But if those cars are Transformers, I'll give this a full price.
Oh,
I got a better section.
yo, if the car turns into a transformer and out of it walks a velociraptor,
Yeah,
I'll
yeah,
even be happier. Or just if Ja Rule comes out, you know? Now that would be the
Still waiting on Ja Rule.
that would be the Captain America moment. Hey y'all, is that
Monica with him?
Yeah, Monica. Yeah, he comes out. Monica's with him. He comes like, "Hey Monica, I'm back." You lost again, Monica. No. Oh, I would like to. Even though they're all split everywhere, I would like to see them at some point, come together.
They will.
Yeah, they will. So I mean, I just like I said, on a childlike level for me, but the thing that is just touching the pure superhero fan. In
Sure. I mean, at this point.
Yeah, exactly, man. If they split up all around the world.
Uh-oh. Here we go.
They're gonna need a good VPN. Oh, so people, if I were them, I'm not, but I'm just saying, if I were the Fast and Furious family, I would go and get myself Surfshark. Hey, this portion of the show has been brought to you by Surfshark with their reliable VPN service. And what is a VPN? Well, something that you need, first of all, but that stands for Virtual Private Network. Mm-hmm. And here's the thing with a VPN. So with a VPN, the benefits of that is, if you have that, you're going to need that if you're surfing in public using some other, network. That's not safe. If you are in another country or somewhere where they have geo-restricted platforms or content, you're going to need that. If you looking at stuff you don't want anybody else to know, you looking at, what I'm talking about. You're trying to hide your tracks. You need a VPN. Or if you just want to protect your identity and your info, which we all should, Surf. That's another service. You don't want to use Surfshark is what you want to use. And I'm going to show you the benefits right here. This is what makes them the best VPN. So you have unlimited devices that this could go on. You have an ad and malware blocker, cookie pop-up blocker. You're really protecting yourself with that two-factor authentication. They also have 24/7 support, 24/7 support there. And I'm probably thinking for that, all those services right there, that's going to be a lot of money. No, it's $2.49. $2.49 to get that going. Yes, that price is nice, but I'm about to make it a lot nicer. So if you sign up right now with our code surfshark.deals/toasted, you'll get 3 months for free. And the price is already cheap, but once again, you'll get 3 months for free. Hey, money is money. Saving is saving. Start protecting yourself, start protecting your identity, start protecting your tracks, and start having the peace of mind of surfing the net safely with Surfshark. I want to thank Surfshark for coming in and sponsoring this portion of the show. And I want to thank all of you out there for your support. Thank you very much. All right. Let's see here. I'm talking about how I want to see all these characters come together. And I do, just like I said, I'm a basic, kid who loves superheroes level. But I still don't find myself fully invested in them. As I said, I don't think I really, I'm not gonna say I don't like them. I just don't find myself rooting for them. I don't find myself, wanting them to win or anything. I'm just watching it purely for the spectacle now. And mainly because I don't know. We're talking about the dialogue is terrible and everything, but I think they all lack personality.
I was just gonna say that's the big problem. Because when I watch this, I go like, man, they've had so many movies and they got people here eager for them. But it's almost like people are eager just because they're there and they're used to seeing them. But they do lack a lot of personality. You got to give to Tyrese that he tries to put personality in his character.
Yeah.
But even like the adventures, the misadventures with him and Ludacris, Tej and Roman, they don't really write good stuff for them. They're supposed to be the comedy team. Is like, none of these are real jokes. None of it's really funny.
I feel like there has something going on and they just stopped it.
Looking at this, they're not personalities. They're types. And I've said this about, other weekly weak written characters. When they don't have any personality, their personality is that they just fit a certain category. In this case, flavor. You know, the characters in this movie come in three basic flavors, really. There's a villainous, there's angry, and then there's jokey. And I'll tell you, jokey's always going to be more endearing because at least, you know, they seem more human.
Right.
Let me find him here. John Cena. John Cena's fun to watch.
Jacob.
Jacob. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was the thing. Outside of Dante, Jacob is the probably the character that was the most fun to watch. But to get to this point, they've given Jacob / John Cena a complete personality transplant. He is nothing like he was in the last movie.
Yeah.
They just said like, well, we forgot what we wrote for you last time. So John Cena, just be you.
Literally.
Him, as John Cena is great.
John Cena is on the path to being one of those characters, again, like Homer Simpson, that gets dumber as they go along. He ain't dumb yet, but he definitely, don't let this mean mugging fool you right here. He's getting goofier.
If you ever saw the last movie, you never would have thought he was done.
No.
He was, what you see in his face right here was what he did in the last movie. But when he's talking in this film, when you see him doing his thing, he is goofy as hell, man.
Yeah,
he's silly. He really is Peacemaker, man.
With Dom's son.
Yeah. He's got good chemistry with little Dom Jr., whatever, you know, because he's the uncle.
Right.
And it's funny because he's that uncle that is teaching his nephew bad things like murder.
Sure.
I got eyes on Uncle Muscle and the kid.
Of course, drive through the flames.
Hey, he put his hand up.
Yeah. I was expecting him to get on the other side and just turkeys, like cooked turkeys in the seats.
Oh, no, you're good. You're good. Okay, song lyrics, stub toes, and cannon cars.
Yeah, watch your language, but killing, murder, that's fine. Yeah.
Hey, that's what the family does.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the family business.
Might as well start early now.
That dude's already got bodies, bro. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, they're all murderers.
He's 9 years old. 9 years old. Yeah. A whole bunch of sociopaths. That kid's 9 years old. And already blew up 2 people.
He's already got a kill count.
Yeah. Yeah, that fool got 2 in one blow, man. Yeah, Ludacris is Tej and Tyrese as Roman. I enjoy watching them, you know, because again, they're the humor in the movie. They felt like real people, but they are the comedic relief in the movie. And for a series that has been praised for its diversity and for putting the people of color in the forefront, I feel like, you know, it's been more the ambiguously racial people that have been now featured in the spotlight and doing all the heroic things and all the cool things. And they took the brothers that look actually black and just made them clowns, man. Yeah. You know, I'm not ready to say minstrel show yet, but you know, they have relegated them to the funny black band, the funny guys in
Skids and Mud.
Yeah. they ain't that level yet. They ain't that bad, but you know, it's just typical. It's typical to take the dudes that are the black guys and make them funny. Yeah. You know, the dark-skinned black guy, the guy who actually looks black. And now we have the people who, you know, maybe you got some white up in you. I can't tell. You know, they're the one doing all the heroic stuff right now. You know, I ain't saying it's bringing the movie down. I ain't about to go on some racial rant. I'll call this a racist movie or not anything like that. But
just making note.
It is typical to do that. And I'm kind of disappointed that they have just been put down to that. And, you know, it's funny because Martin, you were saying that Roman used to be the voice of reason. And I was happy that he was able to lead a mission. And I was happy that he was able to lead a mission.
Too, yeah, I was happy.
I was like, okay, they finally letting the dark brother do something. And then when he started leading the mission, Don turned around and was like, watch this. You know he's gonna mess up something.
No, he sure did.
This is my mission, goddammit.
Hey, Han, go after him. You know he's gonna mess up something, man. You know, I kind of felt bad about that, man. Shit, he thought Martin Scorsese loved Morbius. Go follow his ass. I was like, oh man. You know, and you know, it's a dumb movie. So Tyrese was going with it. He's like, yeah, I know this is a dumb mission. Give me the dumbest shit you got. You know, everybody else is doing dumb stuff, but everybody else could do that dumb shit competently.
Yeah.
They were just kind of like, yeah, you know, he gonna So go follow his ass. I was like, wow, man. I'm a little disappointed in the movie with doing that. But your boy, I will tell you who I love in this movie. I'll tell you who I was watching this movie for. I was waiting on this person to get back on the screen as quickly as they could.
Aquaman.
No. Gay Aquaman Joker.
Gay Aquaman.
Yeah. Gay Aqua Joker. I loved him in the movie. He has finally crossed this series over into full comic book movie territory.
Yep.
In this movie, listen, we're joking, but he really is the Joker.
No, yeah, he is.
The only thing he's missing is a joy buzzer and a squirting flower. Cause this fool, I mean,
he's got another movie to pull that out.
Yeah, that's true.
He got henchmen I don't want to be there.
He's running through the movie laughing and joking and collecting henchmen out of nowhere. Dude's just following him just because. Or he's found something on them that he makes them follow him. He spent time in an insane asylum.
Yep.
Like the Joker.
Yeah. Like the Joker always got out. It's
not taking things seriously.
No.
But somehow has the master plan and knows what everybody's going to do.
Yes.
Before they do it.
Yeah. And, as over the top as villains have been in this film series, the others have been James Bond type villains. Mm-hmm. This fool is straight up a comic book super villain.
He's a Batman villain.
Yeah. He is the Joker. Y'all saw him laughing and grinning and making jokes and everything. Looking at him here, man, because this fool, he has layers. He's
plural layers.
Yeah. And he manages to just get stuff with no explanation whatsoever. He just procures things and like the henchmen he gets. We don't know how he got them. When he
we kind of do.
Well, kind of, but then he just gets more. Like
they don't explain those.
you know how the Joker would just get tired of henchmen and just say, you know what, nothing personal, but you gotta die. Yeah. Because I gotta make room for some others. I'm just bored with y'all. That's him, and he just finds new ones out of nowhere.
And he has a wizard level hacking skills out of nowhere.
Yeah, like everybody in this movie. He's like Ludacris when Ludacris just. You remember when Ludacris was a mechanic?
Yeah.
And now he's a computer genius.
Well, I figured he took night courses in between.
ain't enough night courses to go from being what he is to where he is now.
He did say it was 2 years later. So
yeah, okay. Yeah, he went
had time.
Yeah, he went to community college.
Exactly.
Okay, but here's the biggest thing. You know how super villains, not just your regular villain, like your super comic book villain. Your super villain will go out there and get anybody can get a bomb. But this man got a big ass cartoon bomb. That's a giant ball that just rolls through Rome like a pinball machine.
Yeah, if it wasn't moving so fast, you could see the Acme logo.
Yeah. He just found this bomb out of nowhere.
And it's not just a bomb, it's a nuke.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah. It's a big old roly-poly nuke. Big old round nuke that he found, man.
Yeah, to kill these 8 people, I'm going to make Rome radioactive.
Yes. And this ball goes everywhere and doesn't kill anybody.
No.
They mentioned that they might have killed somebody, but this ball, look at it. This ball takes out this ball. Nobody on that bus died.
No.
Somehow nobody's in the middle of the bus.
Everybody was there. Everybody's in the front of the bus and the back of the bus.
And the bomb was just polite enough to go right through the middle.
Pardon me. Excuse me. Jason Momoa, he's what this series needs now, because he fits the ridiculous level that this series has gone to, man. Mm-hmm. And the biggest thing about it is he's having fun. There are so many cast members here who look like they're just going through the motions.
For a paycheck.
And that's the biggest thing with Dom. When we go back to the first movie, we talked about how charismatic he was and made you want to follow him. Mm-hmm. And by the time we get to this movie, he's just stoic. He's mostly grunting. He has a little bit of dialogue in the beginning and the rest is just grunts. Yeah. So him facing off against Dante, it really is like Batman versus the Joker.
Yeah, it really is.
One is playful, the other one's just grim.
One ain't talking.
Yeah, I mean, like I said this other day, and nothing personal against Vin Diesel. Vin Diesel's cool, man. Vin Diesel's where's that Vin Diesel that was harassing chicks during interviews and shit? Where, like the Vin Diesel from Triple X.
Eu sou o Groot.
I love her. Man, she's so fucking sexy. It's not, I can't do this interview. Look at her. Oh, am I the only one that's saying it? Look at her.
Find that chick and put her in this movie so this dude can wake up.
I feel like we gotta blame James Gunn on this one. Ever since he been Groot, man, he don't want to talk no more.
He don't want to talk no more. He don't want to say nothing.
Wait, how much for just saying I am Groot a couple of times?
Exactly. Shit. You gonna start paying extra for these lines? Yeah, find this broad here, get in this movie so he can wake his ass up and be excited about something.
And it's like they know that he's not putting in the full amount because they just start hiring every big actor in Hollywood.
Yeah,
literally.
Yeah.
If you an A-list actor, boy, come on.
Yeah, I don't mean A-list. I mean just huge, big.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. You talking about Captain America?
Jack Reacher.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. No, I was gonna get to that in a little bit. No, he's it's a lot of this cast, they've been doing this for years and they just seem like they really are there just for the check. But Jason Momoa, he is having the time of his life, man.
You see it.
And then there's moments where he tries to get serious.
You remember my father. Very bad daddy. But I kind of liked him, and you took
And it's like, go back to being crazy, And he tried. Even he realized, like, you know what? Like he can't. It's almost like somebody trying to be serious, and they're like, come on, y'all,
Right.
No.
Yeah, in the middle of being serious, you start listening to what they actually have written down for you to say.
Yeah,
and you're like, I can't do this.
Yeah, it's almost like Jason Momoa, because there's moments where he is serious and he just goes right back into being Joker mode. It's almost like he's looking at Vin Diesel and like, look at this guy.
Yeah, right.
Look at this guy. Why so serious? Speaking of Jack Reacher, I do like Jason Momoa. I think that some of the new faces in here are the ones that are having fun. Alan Richardson, who plays Jack Reacher, I don't think they gave him a whole lot to do. But
they didn't.
No, they didn't. He's just another big dude just punching things.
Literally.
But he comes in kind of late in the movie.
Yeah, he does.
Kind of halfway through. So,
but he's having, he's doing the best he can. I can see him being kind of excited to be in this movie. Mm-hmm. And the same with Brie Larson. Brie Larson is actually pretty cool in this.
Yeah.
In fact, I wish this version of Brie Larson in this movie was what we saw in Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
Because she's actually really good in this. She has both these people are given more personality than what we're given with some of the people who have been mainstays in here. What's funny too is like we've reached that level now where, the cars are their superpowers.
Yeah.
So there's always a car available. And I ain't talking about like no regular car because that would be normal. I'm talking about everywhere they go. Like they get on a jet somehow. Somewhere there's a big ass muscle car on there with an engine on the hood and everything. It's almost like the cars are like spinach for Popeye.
Right.
They'll even see a car. You hear the they get in the cars like that. That's their power. It always has to be ready somehow, somewhere.
Yes. And the muscle cars, they're not simply muscle cars. They're actually tanks in disguise.
Dom and these other people, especially Dom, Dom can beat your ass. He can intimidate you, but once he get inside of a car, like, oh shit,
yeah,
it's over now. He takes down helicopters. Two. Yeah. The death toll in this movie is crazy. Now we gone from beyond being superheroes and comic books. Like the death toll in this is video game level because they just kill people. They just killing people left and right. And I feel bad because these people that they're killing, I'm like, these people are just doing their jobs.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, it's like a lot of these people, I can't tell them, like these people work for the agency and they're coming out in droves. I mean, and these guys are killing them Uncharted style, because they, we don't feel bad.
Uncharted style.
Yeah, because they just one after another, they just kill them in droves.
Yeah.
And hey, we don't feel bad because, they're wearing a mask and we didn't see their face. So, hey, they're not real people.
That's right. They do work for the agency.
Yeah, they work for the agency, but the agency is supposed to be good. And these guys think that they're doing something good and they're just killing these people, man. And I guess it bothers me a little bit because they don't have any remorse. I mean, even if they had to do it in self-defense, it's just kind of, even if they were just kind of like, man, we really hated killing those people. But it's just like, they're not even human beings anymore. They don't acknowledge them. And the movie doesn't acknowledge them. The movie treats them as, again, just another obstacle to get past, another thing to contribute to the action, another thing to look cool while they're being killed. Despite that, I like the fun superhero feeling of this movie. Despite that I like some of the characters, I really love Jason Momoa in this. He just made me laugh. Mm-hmm. He was having fun.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many characters that it has to keep bouncing around. But whenever it bounced to him, I was like, all right, this is good.
Yeah.
This is actually enjoyable.
Yeah. But the film, the biggest thing that's a problem for me with this movie, and this is a problem for me. Again, if you have been with this series for a long time and you just like seeing things get bigger and get louder as they go boom and things crash into each other and more people being brought in, especially big ass dudes and more action, stars, that's cool. For me, it's all starting to just kind of repeat itself. It's a cycle now. Combine that with the lack of personality, and I'm just not invested really anymore. And I'll give you a point here. Think about this. Besides just getting bigger and and louder and just doing crazier things, think about this. You have different directors who are coming in now, ever since they start getting crazy. Are any of these directors leaving a personal imprint on these movies?
No, you can't tell the same thing. Louis Leterrier is no different than Justin Lin.
Yeah, and Justin Lin is no different than my man that did Friday, Gary Gray. No directors coming in and leaving a personal mark or their personality on these films. So the only reason why they're getting bigger is because the money is getting bigger with these films. So it's all the same. In fact, when I think about it, it was a joke. But when I think about every director who's come in and worked on this and no one leaves a personal mark on these movies, I think about this clip right here.
Right now, I believe we have a clip to show our audience at home. Can you set the clip up for us, Chris?
The car went out of the train, and then there's a hole in the train.
They say that's the director of the movie.
that's the writer.
They say that's the right. Man, you got to see. They say that this is when Fast 5 came out. This kid is the writer. He's a screenwriter. Might be the director of the movie.
Creative talents. The screenwriter behind this summer's blockbuster, the new Fast and Furious movie, Fast 5. Chris Morgan, thanks for joining us.
Hi, Chris. The box hit the car, then it crashed into the ocean.
Whoa!
I think of that. I take that seriously now. Like that's
Who did this? Was it on a real show?
I forgot. This is a comedy sketch, so of course.
Okay.
Yeah. No, that's the real writer, man. See, even you don't know what it's a joke about.
A real morning show where they did that as a joke.
Yeah. I'm looking at this kid. I'm like, that's no different from what these writers and directors are actually doing.
Right.
So that sums this up for me right there, man.
You don't give your rating?
Yeah, I'll give my rating. You probably I'll give it a rental. Yeah, and again, nothing against the movie. I just felt like I just saw this with the last film.
Mm-hmm. That's the last 4 films.
The last 4 films,
films. It's just funny how the next film makes the previous film look more realistic. I hear exactly what you're saying. So much of it blends together after a while. That nobody does anything special. Watching this, I thought, you know what? You have these, quote unquote, indestructible characters. It's a betrayal of what it came from, and it's excessive. Like to me, the biggest problem with this is not just the weakness of the writing, what's going on, but just how excessive it is. Like the big chase through Rome with the ball of nuclear, with the nuke.
Yeah.
It was like, some cool stuff in there, but it goes on for so long.
Yeah.
And it goes to a point where it's so ridiculous that you don't believe in it anymore. and that happens with everything, even with the chases. You got some good stuff, but man, you start doing some things where it's like, all right, I can't have an investment in this. And you just kind of like, I'm just waiting for it to get to the end so you can tell me what this plot point is so we can move on to the next one. And everybody's going to be fine.
You can't even trust people to die anymore in these movies.
You can't. Yeah, there's some deaths, but come on now. I mean, we just saw a scene where Jason Statham is facing the guy that he killed, that we saw him kill.
Yeah.
And there was no ifs, ands, or buts about him dying in an exploding car that was on fire. And yet, he's just back. The worst thing about it being 2 hours and 15 minutes long is that it's not the end. Like, it gets, at 2 hours and 15, you should be able to wrap this story up.
Yeah.
Nope.
But it's like, oh, wait till the next part. And it's not even like, wait to part 2, because there's going to be a part 3.
Yeah.
And by the time you get to this one, end of this one, you're like, what the hell else is there to say?
So it's really confirmed they're making a third one?
Yeah.
It's a trilogy at this point?
I read it just right before we started doing
Oh,
this.
damn,
Yeah, Vin Diesel already... unless this one tanks, which, I mean, with the last one, they said, like, well, it didn't make the money they thought it would. So who knows? But when you got something out there like Guardians of the Galaxy 3 that gives you the spectacle, but also the humor and the real characters and makes you cry and makes you feel something, it's hard to go into something like this and get excited about it. Some good things, Jason Momoa and John Cena, they are a cut above. And even though it's kind of, she doesn't do a whole lot, I still really like Michelle Rodriguez in this. Everything else is kind of take it or leave it. I'm with you, Corey. It's a rental.
Okay.
I mean, it could be lower, but there is, it's one of those movies where it's like, if everything I said doesn't bother you and you like the spectacle, by all means see it in the theater because it's big and loud and it's made for that. But quality-wise, it's a rental.
Yeah, there you go. All right. Julian, what do you think?
So, if you guys do not know, Fast and Furious actually used to be like my favorite movie franchise, like above Marvel, above DC, all that stuff.
Above Creed?
Yeah, above everything. I always had a passion for the Fast and Furious flicks until the freaking last one. When the last one was like, this is just god awful right here. But there's some things I dislike, and there's some things I like. One thing I did dislike is how how each scene kind of ended. It was kind of being like, oh, I know where to go. And you know what I'm saying? Every character is saying it. I was like, yo, this is really getting repetitive. I feel like the family is just getting too big at this point. Like there's too many. I'm sorry. Like there's good characters, but there's too many of them. And now the movie's trying to focus on so many different characters and it's creating all these different subplots. And I feel like some of the subplots are kind of losing focus to the main plot and we're spending too much time on these subplots.
Yeah.
But at the end all, I had a lot of fun watching it. I didn't sit back and I wasn't sitting back like the last one where I was just mad that I was watching this flick. The movie acknowledges how dumb it gets, how stupid it's getting. So
I feel like it didn't.
I think the beginning. I feel like the beginning that it acknowledged how stupid it got or how stupid it's getting. But yeah, my rating's a matinee.
Okay.
I had fun.
All right then. Well, there you go. I could definitely see where you have fun with this. I can see where anybody can have fun with this. I had fun with it in certain parts.
Yeah, at times I did.
Yeah, I mean,
I wasn't a sourpuss the whole time.
No.
I was trying to roll with it.
Yeah, but shit, sometimes I just look, man, I can only go so long.
I know. It's fun, boy.
Let me out this goddamn car. Come on. hey,
did y'all really just do that?
Yeah, and it'll be a big hit this weekend. And I say this all the time, but you go see this on a Friday night. See, the time to see it, if you ask me, would be when the movie opens, because you're going to be there with your fellow fast friends and
your family.
Your family going to be with the family, and everybody's in the theater who's a big fan is going to be into this, and so everyone's going to be cheering and going to be happy to see all the characters and back again. So yeah, I would check it out if you really want to see this. Check it out on the first weekend, because I think that's where people are going to be really hyped. And you're going to get a real energetic audience, just rooting for this film. All right.